Maybe it's just spinning circles. Hey, there we go. You are live.
Yeah.
All right, Harlan, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. We are live. This is great. I
Yeah,
love
so
getting on here every Tuesday with you, man. It's great.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually truly enjoy doing this. I like talking about the stories and everything like that. We'll see if the chat populates a little bit more, other than prepping outside the box. I mean, that's good enough for me to roll with.
Me
But
too. I
before we
love him, man. He's awesome. He's a good dude.
hell yeah. But before we get into the story, I'd like to see at least a couple more in there. So we'll just kind of BS for a little bit.
The shirt's for you, prepping outside the box. Grunt style, man. Shirt for you.
Hell yeah. So this one's about, this story is going to be about a dog that rescues a guy from a cougar, and that's kind of what we're going to do. So just as a bullshitting session while we're waiting on some folks, you got any dog stories from your past?
Yes. I am not afraid of dogs, and I have never been afraid of dogs. I don't care the size. I don't it's not because I'm a big guy, but it's just I've never had that fear put in me about dogs. So um back in my high school days, I was in track and field, and this is a quick one. I used to go on jogs late at night, and well, I was headed down this main road, lights, street lights, main road, and I'm running on the sidewalk, and I'm passing a house that has no fences and stuff like that. I hear a dog barking, and so I look to my right, and here comes this little dog. I mean, this dog. I wouldn't say little. I mean, it's average size, maybe 25 pound dog, coming beeline right for me, barking, snarling like he's gonna do something, and I literally just turned right towards it, and I got loud, and I was like, "What are you gonna do? Let's go! This is the hill you're gonna die on. Let's go!" And it made a complete turn and ran the other direction, yipping and hollering. But that dog was the alarm system for that house, and I was some intruder. So,
Right.
but I was on the sidewalk, and um, that that's a story about a dog situation where I'm coming, being attacked by something. But the I've raised a couple of dogs before, and we can get into that a little bit later, because the dog that I raised was a protector, and it was a red chow with a little bit of German Shepherd in it. And
Okay, yeah.
big 75, 80 pound dog, and red mane on it. Just huge. Its head was freaking huge. Like, bam. And so that was my dog. His name was Wicket.
Oh, nice.
Wicket. After the the Star Wars Wicket. The I don't know if you guys, if there's any Star Wars fans in there. He was an Ewok. Wicket was an Ewok.
Okay.
Battle of Endor.
Right on. Okay.
Okay, cool. So Wicket was his name. Wicket.
Righto. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I raised dogs for a minute. I've been around. So I've always been around bulldogs, pit bulls. I call them bulldogs. I've been around since I was like 16 years old, and my wife and I raised them for a little bit. My kids showed them. My kids did weight pulls with them, showed them stuff like that. So they were all raised around bulldogs, and so I'll just a little quick story of one of mine would be like a abnormal strength, like the crazy strength of a dog in comparison to a person, just to give a sort of a sense of where we're going to go with this hindsight story, I guess. So dog strength is crazy. We had a dog named Gotti, and he pulled 5,500 pounds at 55 pounds, and he did it like just. I mean, he was working his butt off, but man, you pull that harness out, you tell him to go work or whatever, they get excited. So it's pretty interesting to see how strong them dogs truly are. Any dog. I just went to a pulling contest. I don't even have dogs in pulling contests no more. I just went to one here kind of locally that they showed, and was watching some dogs. They had, I don't know if you know what Patterdale is. It's like a 20-pound dog. And that little sucker was getting it pretty good. He pulled, I think it was like right at 700 pounds he pulled. And it was just amazing. So dogs are truly strong animals. I know other animals are really strong as well, but dogs are extremely athletic and strong. You got some that are klutzy, of course, but your typical
Right.
like working breeds or protector breeds, they're very strong and athletic.
And it really depends on the owner. You'll know a lot about a dog's personality based on how aggressive it is. Because of the owner. The owner really does kind of dictate a lot of how the dog actually reacts to situations.
Right.
So there's so many videos on how to get your dog to do what you want it to do during, like, if the doorbell rings and stuff like that. You don't want to discipline your dog because it's doing its job,
right?
Basically. So that's some of the things I've learned about that, because you hear so many people. All right, I come in contact with so many dogs that just want to rip your head off, and I'm on one side of the fence, it's on the other, and the owner comes out and starts chasing it around, and telling him, shut up and stop it and do all. Like, he's doing his job. So you need to control that. Let's control that.
Yeah. Don't punish it. Just,
right.
steer the direction you need it to go with.
Right.
Which, that's also something that this story will kind of go along with, because the guy that's involved with this story actually is a dog trainer. So it's quite interesting that you said that. So
yeah, hey, that's a great dovetail right into the situation.
Well, yeah, and before we do that, though, sorry, I seen Milkmaid's comment, and while I was looking up these kinds of stories, my wife and I was both watching the videos together, trying to find some dog stories or whatever, and there was actually one, since she's a cat and dog lover, there was actually one that had a cat that took a snake bite. That would be kind of interesting to do. It took a snake bite for the owner. Now, it may have been because it may have been because, it may have been hunting the snake more, kind of, maybe, but also it was hanging out and, following the lady, like a pet cat would do, and it took the bite for the lady. So quite interesting, actually. Yeah,
Cats,
it was a cobra, I think. So.
Cats are very interesting creatures, man. They're so covert, dude. Dogs are overt. Cats are overt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's easy to have a relationship with a dog, because they let their emotions be known, because they want to please you, and that's it. Cats are like, no, don't touch me today, but tomorrow you can pet me for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to scratch the hell out of your hand, but I still love you.
Yeah.
Defeat.
Exactly. Yeah, cats they're a little bit more temperamental. They're what they want to be when they want to be. Dogs are, they are what they are. They're loyal, they're true, they're courageous, all that good stuff. But
I gotta say though, I do have my cat trained to give me 5 before it eats.
Really?
It has to give me 5. If it doesn't put his paw in my hand, I don't feed it. So in the morning, I'll snap my fingers and put my hand out like this, and every morning since we've owned this cat, it'll put one paw in my hand. If it tries to use a cabinet to over across, nope. You've got to go up and actually just give me a high five, and then I'll give you some food.
Oh wow.
And I do it every morning since it's 2-3 years now, and every morning I get a little high five from the cat.
That's funny. My cats are trained wonderfully to stand at the dish and meow when they think they need food, instead of out hunting mice like they're supposed to be, since they're farm cats. But that's a whole different story.
There we go. Okay, because hey, there's cats in this story, and cats are the only other species on Earth that kill for fun other than humans. Cats are this is a fact.
Man,
Cats
that's a little.
only other species on Earth that kill for fun, other than humans.
That's a interesting fact, and now I feel kind of bad because I always talk bad about how cats kill their food, and I'm like, man, them things.
Sometimes they kill for fun.
And now that you mention it, yeah, I mean, I hunt for food, but it's also it's a lot of fun. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I truly enjoy going out and doing it. It's a lot of fun, and it's something I always look forward to doing. So,
Yeah.
holy cow, I guess.
Yeah. Now we're talking about a 65 to 85 pound cat killing for fun or killing to eat this man. So
Was he only 65 to 85? Okay, man, let's roll into this a little bit.
I count, yeah. Cougars can 65 to 80 pounds. Sometimes mountain lions can get up to 100 pounds or more.
Yeah, see, I thought this one was pretty good size. It looked like, but because there's actually footage of this. So,
Right.
okay, there's a guy. I'm just gonna roll with it now. There's a guy. His name's Dave. His dog Chaos. Now, Dave, as a quick backdrop, he does like dog training. It's real deal dog training is what he does for a living, and it's actually his whole family does it. I mean, even his nephew helps with it and everything like that. He has some other actual videos of his own that he puts out on YouTube for some dog training stuff, and they do everything from service dogs to protection dogs, the dogs that smell for drugs. Can't remember what those are called. To retraining overly aggressive dogs, and then just your general obedience. They kind of have all these different classes that they do, and I watched a couple of his videos after this. It was pretty interesting. They do the protection work with the putting on all the padding and gear and getting attacked and all that good stuff. It's pretty in depth, pretty rough stuff, and that's where like you were saying, Funkers, Fonker 530. He has he does videos. He's a veteran, and he does a lot of work for veterans, and he volunteered to get put in that attack suit and get attacked, correct?
He put on the bite suit and let the dogs get after him, and it was pretty interesting, very funny, and also kind of put its perspective on what a dog can do with.
Oh yeah.
Because he had a lot of bruises up in his arms, and it's so those dogs fierce.
Yeah, that would be intense. I don't care how covered you are. They drop a dog like that, and it starts making a run for you. Your heart's gonna be like, what did I get myself into? Holy cow, what an idiot! That's a great bad idea. It's a great bad idea. I may try to look into that. Hey, can I volunteer to get attacked by a 100-pound German Shepherd just to see what this is like?
Hey, just a shout out to the vets. They will sponsor vets to do this training and train a dog, and at the end of the training, they keep the dog.
Oh wow!
At this training facility where he went to do this, Funker Tactical. I think his name was like Robbie or something like that, or Funker 530. I know Prepping Outside the Box has probably heard of him before.
Well, if anybody has, I'm not real sure how to drop a link in here yet. If I can figure it out, I'll try to get it done before there. If not, if anybody knows the link, that'd be great to drop it in there right now, just to be able to get somebody to see what these guys do, and it'll show a little bit of what this guy does for a living, as far as and this may be why he handled the situation the way he did, because reflecting back on how he handled the situation by doing this type of training, that may be why he did what he did. So he does this type of training with dogs all the time. He's an outdoorsman. He loves going hiking. He loves taking his dogs out hiking and stuff like that. It gives him a one-on-one, really good opportunity to work with his dogs. It allows him to just connect with the dogs a lot better, and it gives the dogs, a little bit more freedom and stuff like that, instead of having all the other dogs around barking and all that stuff. Is one of the reasons he likes to go out and do this type of stuff. And plus, it's just relaxing in general for him. And so that's basically all I know about the guy, is that he does dog training, and he likes to go out hiking and stuff like that in the mountainous areas. They're from somewhere in California.
Can you be like an idea of where he was at the time where he went hiking?
San Bernardino, California.
San Bernardino, California. Okay. Is that? I'm not too familiar. Is that Sierra? Uh, what mountain range is that?
San Bernardino Mountains. No, I don't know.
I know it's desert. I know it's all.
Apparently, there's some mountainous areas around there. That's a good question, man. I wish I would have looked into that a little bit more. I, however, did not tonight look into exactly where this region was. Had a few things that came up that kind of cut me short on my study time that I had.
No, I'm sorry.
It's good.
I was just checking to see if maybe that region right there is like a desert or foresty. So I think, yeah, I was just checking.
It's got some mountainous areas. I'm actually Googling it right now, man. Now you got me wondering.
Okay. Good. I know that he had mentioned some waterfalls because I had briefly skimmed through that video too, and I skipped to the good parts, the attack part. So I had skipped over some of that. I didn't do my research prior to this video, so my apologies.
We'll let it slide this one time, just because it's right after Christmas. We'll let it slide that neither one of us did our due diligence to have our background good.
But we're still here on a Tuesday.
That's right. San Andreas Fault. It looks like, according to the smartest thing in the world here, Google, that it's kind of, a little bit of a deserty area, but it has a lot of mountains and valleys, and that's how they're explaining it. A mountainous area with lots of valleys, things like that, and desert surrounding it, and it's along the coastline. So if that paints a good enough picture for you.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was further inland. So, okay, good deal.
Apparently there's big cats there, though. So Dave was saying that when him and Chaos went hiking, and so he grabbed Chaos out of pure laziness. I mean, that's exactly what he said in his video. It was just pure laziness, because typically he'll take a younger dog that he's wanting to train a little bit more and get a lot more one-on-one experience with. So he'll take a little bit younger dog to get that one-on-one and get him out and get that running and stuff like that done. But just out of pure laziness and sheer luck, I guess, he grabbed Chaos and took him out. And there's a video actually on this where you get to see the cat and the dog rolling around for a minute, but kind of jumping ahead. But it's because when I started talking about this dog, it looks like he has a cut vest on, which anybody that's seen boar hunting videos or anything like that, a cut vest is something dogs wear to keep them from getting injured. So it's kind of interesting that he had something that looked like that on. I wish I could have done a little bit more research and seen exactly what he had on, but it did look like a cut vest. But so they went to the mountains there to take a hike, and he said he usually only goes like 300 yards into there for his hike or whatever. But they went a little bit further because that morning he had a really rough morning. He was having some issues with some of the dogs at the training facility. Him and his wife got in an argument. So he just took off and did the worst thing that you could think of. He didn't tell anybody where he was going. He didn't, relay any type of information. He just hopped in his vehicle with his dog and took off and went to go hiking. So
starting to see a theme with these these hindsights we're doing.
It's kind of interesting
where they're going. Sorry.
No, one of the main things, just tell somebody where you're going. Even if you're mad at your wife, hey, I'm going on a walk. All right, I'll be back sometime. Yeah. I'm walking over here. All right. Yeah. Pretty simple. Oh man, I ain't seen my husband in 3 hours. Maybe I should send somebody to go look for him. That's weird.
Yeah.
So anyways, they went a little further than he usually does, which still is not nothing too out of the ordinary because, they say there's cougars there and mountain goats, stuff like that, but he's never personally seen even the goats. They've seen like squirrels and other, small wildlife, but never none of the larger stuff. So he wasn't too worried about it. He just, kept going. Okay. But at one point when he was walking down through there, he had kind of like that spidey sense kind of tingling thing, to where he kind of was like, oh man, something doesn't feel quite right. But he thought it was because he was standing on some sketchy logs that were laying across there. So he was like, all right, let's get off these logs and everything will be fine. He walked on. The feeling was kind of there, but not quite as bad as it was when he was standing on the logs. So he kind of just went on about it. And, the dog was running free range, basically, running up in front of him, 25, 30 yards. Didn't get too far from there because of how he has him trained. He comes back round and stuff. And so they kind of kept within that area. There's one point where he heard some pitter pattering is what he said. And it didn't really alarm him at all because, he's heard stuff like that. So he just thought something small or whatever, and he kept going. Well, then a little bit later on, he heard like some pebbles falling. And he said with his hiking experience, I have zero of, so I don't know. He said with his hiking experience that the little bit of pebbles that he heard reminded him of, oh, you better look because there could be a larger rock falling from here. So he turns to look, and poof, all he sees is just teeth and claws coming at him. There's this big ass cat that's just coming at him. Within seconds, the cat had, bulldogged him into this big rock. And this is where I said maybe his training of the dogs came into play because as soon as he hit the ground, he just curled up into the fetal position. And this cat, was attacking him. He had like the neck and the shoulders, but because of how he had his hand, it was more of his forearm, and the shoulders is what it read like. So he was preventing some major injuries there. Now, just from watching cats do what they do, like you said, the way they hunt, even a couple seconds of a cat being on you like that, I couldn't imagine the type of damage that guy was probably actually taking at that point. And he said it felt like only a couple seconds before his dog Chaos came running over and just boom, rocketed into that cat. And they're tumbling around fighting. And at one point, he thought his dog was getting real bad hurt because the cat's on his back, which is what cats do. They roll over onto their back because then they can hold you down and they kick with their back feet. Well, then that dog's belly's exposed. So I was really surprised the dog didn't get, gutted right there. But then after I seen the video footage, that's what made me think, wow, maybe that is a cut vest because, the cat had the dog down and was holding him and kicking at his belly, and the dog didn't get hurt. I mean, he got hurt, but not, what could have potentially happened. So I think he had a cut vest on. But anyways, they started rolling around a little bit more, fighting. The guy actually pulled out his camera and started filming and was, filming the dog and the cat fighting. They tussled around for a little bit, and they rolled down this big hill into a bush. And then he went kind of walking down the hill to try to find his dog. And that's where the cougar and the dog had separated, and the cat was up in a tree at this point. And the dog was just, kind of burning circles around this tree and barking and everything. And then the guy, goes over there and he's filming, and he's literally, talking shit to this cat. Like, you thought you were a badass. Why don't you come down now or whatever? And so that was kind of, it was funny and kind of crazy all at the same time. This all was, he explained it. He was like, this happened so fast. He said, I don't care if you got a gun on you. I don't care what. There's nothing you could have done different. However, that's where I disagree with the guy a little bit. But, he's over there, and talking to this cat, and, you think it's over with because it technically is, but, because the cat's up in the tree and he's talking. Well, then as he starts to walk away, he said the cat started moving around to where, it was watching him again. And so it was prowling from the tree up there, trying to keep an eye on him. And he was like, all right, instead of walking out, he turns back around to face the cat, gets his dog worked up again. And then they back out of there to get away from the cat. So then he said after they got a little ways, luckily they had some cell phone coverage. So they were able to, he was able to, I consider the dog part of they, I guess that's me being a dog lover. He was able to get cell phone coverage and, call his wife and let her know what happened. And then later on, I was reading some of the comments on this later on. The cat had apparently attacked a few other people or had tried to or something like that, because they ended up shooting and killing this cat later on that they pretty well proved it was that cat that was doing that. So that's kind of the story there in a nutshell, and a quick kind of hurry rundown of what I remember reading here briefly. So I'm going to just roll right into bouncing it to you and seeing what would you have done if you were in that guy's shoes at that exact situation at that exact time.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, having having those spidey senses is something I've already felt before, and I don't know if I was tracked by a cougar, but I do know that type of shit's real. So you better be you gotta be paying attention to that stuff. So because that's absolutely real, and he felt it, but he kind of disregarded it after he got off of those like wonky, I guess like a log bridge he was standing on. So he felt like, oh, maybe that was what I was feeling, is that the logs were unstable. Never disregard that, and I wouldn't be disregarding that either in his situation. He's got a good dog with him, and his dog is trained. Continue on through the path. As he hears, wow, you hear the pebble turns around, and well, there's the cat on him, and he curls up in a ball. I probably wouldn't have curled up in a ball. I actually probably would have gone like straight for the cat too. I would have gone to it instead of into a ball, because my reaction to, something coming at me is to either try to deflect something or put an arm out. My hands are coming to stop what's coming to me, because if I see it, this thing coming at me, my arms are going out naturally to stop it. So I'm going to be offering it my hand. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do. He might have done the right thing by curling up in a ball. I'm not going to curl up in a ball and let this thing do what it wants to me, even if my dog's 25 yards away, because I know my dog's 25 yards away. I'm going to go first. It's coming at me like this. All right, it's on, man. This is it. It's on. I'm gonna do some damage too. So you're, good luck, cat. Best of luck to you. In that situation, and having the dog come and hit, amazing. That's an amazing thing that had happened. That saved his life. That dog saved his life. Pure and simple, because he curled up in a ball and was just accepted what was happening to him.
Yeah.
Because he saw claws and teeth coming at him. All right, so what? Me, I would have gone for the cat's fucking eyeballs with my thumbs. I would have gone, full fucking, I don't care. This cat's gonna die, and I'm gonna die with the cat right there. So that's where they'll find me. That's me, though.
Right. Yeah.
But hell yeah, good for the dog, man.
Yeah, and those dogs.
He must have been a good trainer too, to make sure that dog rechecked, double checked, or listened for distress, because obviously dogs, who are in tune with their owners and trainers, know the slightest bit of distress, the dogs should be right there by you. The slightest stress, a dog should be right there with you.
Yeah, and it's amazing how a dog can hit up against something when it's running and hits up against it, the amount of force, because they're running 20, 30 miles, however fast, and then they just lunge right there at that end, just bam.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's like a donkey kicking you or something when they first hit you, man. I bet it's
Yeah.
bad.
He said that his dog had the cat by the neck at
Yeah,
first, and basically was a full mount on the cat. And the dog's got, I don't know how many pounds per square inch of a bite, but I
right,
know it's more than that cat. The cat's got the claws, and the cat, that's what the cat relies on: the grapple, the claws, and then getting those teeth in the right position to sink it into a vital artery, right?
right.
That's what a cat's designed for, is holding on and biting in and waiting for the bleed out.
Yeah, and
Okay. Well, the dog had this collar on that was like, I was watching the video, the dog's collar was like 2 inches thick.
yeah, it looks like a
Why?
cut collar too.
Why? It was like, if it was on my neck, it'd be this wide.
Right.
So the dog was equipped for an attack, which, okay, that tells me that the guy had his situational awareness somewhat about him, but then, mainly for the dog, because he was training the dog.
Yeah.
He in training dog scenario, and he's like a lot of the guys that we've already discussed, except for the last one. They've gone complacent, and they don't realize, they don't realize that they maybe should have thought ahead a little bit better, instead of reacting or acting on impulse or emotions, and doing things that they typically wouldn't do. They wouldn't be in that situation regardless, um, if they had been thinking ahead. So
Right.
that's me. What you, man? You.
Pepper 101. What's up, man? Yeah, I want to say how impressed, before I get back into it, how impressed I was at how that dog was shaking the ever living crap out of that cat too, man. That's a big old cat, and the dog just and was able to move it around. So it was pretty impressive. But real quick, just what's up to everybody? Thanks for stopping in. Ohio Prepper, Prepper 101, the Wizard, Prepping Outside the Box, my wife Jennifer, the Milkmaid, who else? Tennessee Tactical.
Oh man, those are all familiar names, and I know
Yeah.
you all guys are great. I love you guys. You guys are fantastic. Thanks
Poppy,
for jumping in here with us.
Lake Ferry, Arkansas Living, all you guys, appreciate it. So what would I do in that actual situation? I don't know that I would curl up in a ball. I might. That would be, yeah. You made it sound like, yeah, cat, claws and teeth. So my wife said, ask AJ about going out to the mailbox. So I went out to the mailbox one night, and it was dark, and I had this little black cat. Hell, I think it's the one we got now, still Salem. He was following me out to the mailbox, and there was eyes that were pretty decent height. So my driveway's, I don't know, eighth of a mile long, and then right as you get to the end, right across the road where my mailbox is, there's a creek there, all kinds of trees, everything like that, tons of deer. There's been sightings and pictures of cougars, around the area, and this is several years ago. I didn't have a gun. I was actually in my boots and my underwear and walked out to the mailbox. So I didn't have a lot of anything with me. And there was a cat. Well, I don't know. There was eyes that were up pretty high, and this low growl that I've never heard in my life. And so I thought, you know what? All I got to do is outrun the cat. So I bolted, man. I did the one thing you're not supposed to do. I bolted.
Man, yeah.
That's what I did that night. I didn't have nothing on me, and I thought all I got to do is get 100 yards, and I'm within my dog. My dog is right there. You know, they can hear me, they can see me. I can get to my dog. So I got to make it 100 yards. Surely I could do that. If not, my wife will hear me scream like a girl, and maybe she'll cut one of the dogs out for me or something. But
I got something to add on to that when you're finished
oh
about
yeah, go ahead.
cougars being in Kansas.
What's that?
I've got something to add on to that about cougars being in Kansas.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
I know something about that stuff. And it's very hush hush. They weren't supposed to realize, they weren't supposed to know this.
Yeah.
That cougars were dropped off in certain areas alongside I-90 to help with the deer population because deer were creating more casualties on the highways, and they wanted to cool the deer herd because so they added cougar
Right.
here.
Now that makes sense.
So what you're not supposed to know is that there are now cougar in Kansas.
Yeah, so that's
So you are not wrong with that. Don't ever go back out there without that your sidearm.
yeah.
Because
Well,
if you are anywhere close to I-90, and this was like a year, 2 years ago that this started happening. A friend of mine that I work with has a picture of the cougar they've spotted. He took it to the Department of Fish and Game and Wildlife. Said, "Hey, there's a cougar around." They said, "No, there's not. No, there's not. That is not a cougar, and you will not bring this up to us again." And they're like, "Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I will not bring this up," because they brought it to like the guys, you know, like, "Hey, there's dangerous animals out here." They're like, "Nope, there is not, and you will shut your mouth about it."
yeah. Yeah, and in fact, we've had one killed on the highway not too far from our house that the game warden was saying, "Oh, that's not a cougar. That's a bobcat." I'm like, "It's got a long ass. That is not a bobcat, man. Go lie to somebody else."
Right. They're going to try to deny it, and so they have been denying it because people have started to see them. I see bobcat. You know, I'm in eastern Kansas, so and we see bobcats here, but I know and I've heard and I've seen pictures that there are cougars along I-90 and that they put there on purpose to get rid of the deer because of too many fatalities because of deer.
Oh my gosh! Right.
Why don't you just increase hunting? All right, I digress. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm fighting my phone the entire time of
I'm
just
trying to look out for you because you probably were not wrong at running your ass off and letting the little cat take the fall for you. So all you have to do
the cat passed me, man. The cat. Yeah, as soon as I got out the house, I was like, "That was so dumb." You know, I should have just backed up and like backed away. Because there's, like one other time, I was out hunting and it's dark, and I was lost. I ain't gonna lie. Horrible bad. And anyways, and the dogs were lost. Everything was lost, and then I just had this eerie feeling. It could have been just because I knew I was lost. I knew there wasn't no dogs. I couldn't hear anybody, and it was pitch black. I was in a weird area, not a normal place I'd go hunting. And we're out coon hunting, so you do it all at dark, and then I just had this eerie feeling. So you just get up against a hay bale and just slouch down because there's not many options out there, and you're like, okay, all I got's a 22, so I hope it isn't nothing big, because what's a 22 gonna do? Piss it off, literally.
That's the knife you have on you. It's like,
yeah.
I always knife that's like, fuck off knife.
Yeah. I carry a good sized knife with me, so that would have been my defense. I guess.
And you got a knife.
Yeah, that's not a knife. So going back to what I would have done in that situation, now that we're just kind of bullshitting along, and I ran one time, the other time I squatted down and thought about what was going on. I probably, with age on me, because it was later on where I squatted against the hay bale. With age on me, I probably would have tried to, stand my ground and Ohio Prepper, I believe it was asking if cougars will, yeah, Ohio Prepper was asking if cougars will run away with loud noises. Now, I've read where they will, and I've read where they won't. So it's kind of a risky. I mean, you're already in a bad situation, so why not try to be, that aggressive? But like his situation, he didn't have the time. He turned around, boom, it was right on him. I think if that happened to me, I'm in a fight because I'm a fighter. So I know once I'm attacked, I'm going to be hands on trying to get the hell out of there, whatever it takes. Like you said, going after the eyes, screaming, trying to cover, but trying to fight, covering my vitals at least and trying to fight back because cats are ruthless, man. They will go after your vitals. They will go and, try to gut you out or whatever. So I would try to cover my vitals. I would definitely be hollering if I knew I had a dog there, because if you got a dog there and you start hollering, that dog is definitely going to come running to see what the hell's going on. And if he sees that you're in trouble, if he isn't on what is on you, you need to get yourself a new dog anyways. But, that's what I would do. I would try to fight. I'd try to cover my vitals. And I would, make as much noise as I could to try to get my dog back to me.
Yeah. Good to bring the dogs back into the fray, because this is about the dog, and this is about how important it is to have a dog with you or to own a dog in general. I think this is what this is one of the videos that could really aspire to getting a good dog, or getting a dog and raising it right as a protector of the family, of the house, because that dog naturally, instinctively heard his master was in trouble, came, took care of business.
Right. I think it's a major thing to have a good dog.
Right
with you at all times.
Absolutely. The dog really did save the day. The dog's the hero. What do you got?
Yeah, backwoods, you're right, man. Yeah. I'm a fighter on the back pedal, man.
Man, I tell you what though,
I like that. With that being said, hindsight, I wouldn't have ran if I would have known it wasn't a cougar. I'm not going to fight a cougar if I can outrun it. But anyways, hindsight, Harlan, what's your hindsight on this, man?
Hindsight? My dog has got the vest on already. Me, I'm going in through the canyon with a really big stick and a really large sidearm, or just a regular sidearm on me. Because you never know. I like to carry a big stick. Anytime I go hiking, I always carry a staff. Or if I don't have one, because I pack light, I will find one when I get there. Because I always do that, because I don't like to pack hiking sticks in my truck when I go hiking. So I find one when I get there. Either way, I have a stick, and I always have a stick. And I always have a long knife. Not my hunting knife, which is what I use to gut the animal, in court and stuff like that. It's like I have a combat knife because it's really good for bushcraft. It's good for self-defense. You never know. And this, whatever animal that I might come in contact with, or whatever danger, if I don't have a firearm, if I don't have my long stick, I've got a knife that will equally kill something. Because if I stick the knife in something, it's going to go in 8 inches. So I always have a blade that's over 8 inches on my side, my leg. It's either tethered to my leg or on my hip. And that's one of the first things that I would think of to go to, typically, because I grew up without a firearm, but with a big knife and a legal knife. So especially hunting or camping, and my dad was like, "Here's your K-bar, son. Take."
Yeah.
path is dangerous ahead. Like, this K-bar is amazing. This is my favorite thing ever. Thank you, Dad. Okay. And I know because I have that, I'm good. And with the dog, is just absolute added security, which is a huge thing. A dog that weighs over 50 pounds, I would say, in my mind, is a really damn good asset to have if you're walking in the woods. A dog that will respond to all of your calls. If you say, get back, he'll come back here, he's going to come right back to your side. A dog that responds to all your commands, a dog that you train, you got to do those things. So,
Right.
I'm going to have all those with me. And I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna walk off and pick a random dog that I'm just angry at life because I need to go on a walk for. Even though sometimes we do that and we have to, but I'm gonna walk around my neighborhood, and the worst thing I have to worry about if I'm on an angry walk is like a crackhead that so
Couple good elbows, you're good.
It's more like just a weird look to them, and they're like, oh, don't want to fuck with that guy. It's because I am not an easy target.
Yeah, you're a pretty large fella. So,
Target mother. So,
and if you're carrying an 8-inch blade around on you and being, 6'4" or whatever.
That in town, I don't need to carry much, but just the walking stick.
Well, and I think walking tall stick. There you go.
6 more feet on top of a really large wingspan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I think you saying you carry an 8-inch blade. I think that's what they call for when you're out boar hunting or whatever too. Run an 8-inch blade while you're out boar hunting, because that's about what you need to get up in the heart. And if one of them comes running out of the brush like to do occasionally, it would be nice to have something real quick and handy to be able to get at them.
Usually I have one really close to me, but
no, Jen, I'm not.
I have a bayonet, and it's typically currently being used to hold up this bag right here. I have a bayonet
nice.
up there, so I do have a blade really close. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I've got I don't even know how long this blade is. I carry on me all the time, but I've got a pretty decent sized pocket knife, and then I actually took it off earlier because I had to put my pistol on for a minute, and I can't carry the knife that I carry with my pistol on me right there because I can't carry a pistol at work. So I call it the get off me knife, and it's you literally hold it like in your fist or whatever, and then the blade comes the way it's designed. It comes out, to be above your fist. Cool. I got it from Warrior Poet Society.
Yeah, it's just spike, right?
Yeah. It's a real short one. It's real good for quick hooks or quick hooks or uppercuts. Yeah.
Weapon. So that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. If my wife could grab it out of my truck real quick, because like I said, I had to slip it off earlier, slip my pistol on for a minute. It's pretty cool. I got it from Warrior Poet Society. I really enjoy carrying it. And actually, if you're intending on carrying a pistol with it, you can put it over on your left-hand side also.
Right.
And then run your pistol on your right-hand side so you can access it either hand anyways. So it's a pretty good little knife. Let's see here. Where was we? We got sidetracked, man.
You're doing your hindsight.
I'm doing my hindsight.
Yeah. Verbatim. If you were in his shoes, but you had what you could do.
Okay, verbatim. If I was in that area, dog. Okay. Okay, so I'm in that kind of territory. My dog is gonna have a cut vest on. He's gonna have a cut collar on because I don't want my dog injured, and I know my dog's gonna get into the mix if there's something going on. So my dog will have that stuff on him. Um, I would have for sure my get off me knife. I'd have my sidearm, um, and it's a decent sized sidearm. I'd be running. I prefer carrying a 45 or a 9mm all the time, but if I was in somewhere like that, or I was going out, boar hunting, any one of those type of things, I'd either carry my 357 or a 45, just because I know that's a lot better of a stopping round than, like, say, a 9mm. To a cat might irritate it, but
Forgive me.
Nope, you're good. Yes, Ohio prepper, squirrel, and squirrel again. And yeah, milkmaid, I've never actually tried to, stick a pig in the heart, but I imagine that it would be very difficult just from butchering a pig. They're pretty tough skinned, and that's good ways you got to get in there to get it. And I think that's why they suggest carrying an 8-inch blade, because the depth that the heart is from the skin to be able to get in there good to, preferably kill that thing. Now that would be the very last thing, because that's where they're charging in from the bush or whatever. Supposedly, I've thought about going and trying to hog hunt at some point soon. And if I do, I'm definitely going to have a decent sidearm on me and a hell of a good knife, because I've watched a lot of videos of them suckers coming out of that brush, and it looks pretty brutal. But I'd still rather deal with one of them than a cougar. The cougars, they got a lot more teeth, a lot more claws, all that good stuff. So that is something I would definitely do. I'm just running back and forth now. Must be doing PT. Sat in front of the computer too long. Got to get up and do some exercises. Is that what you're doing there, Heartland? Doing your PT real quick?
You gotta run up the stairs, run over there, and do all kinds of jumping jacks, push-ups, and then go to the bathroom.
All right. Well, so yeah, I was basically having my sidearm, having the dog and collar cut vest. I have my preference of dog. I'd either have me, the bulldog with me at all times, because I know they're extremely courageous, they're extremely loyal. Them dogs ain't going nowhere no matter what happens to them. They're gonna stick right with you. Other than that, the only other dog, because at this point you're choosing your dog, the only other dog I would take with me would be a Kangal, which, if anybody knows anything about a Kangal, it's a big guardian dog, so it's for livestock. But these things have the biggest bite force of any of the canines. The highest, like damn near triple what a bulldog is with bite strength. And they're not huge by any means. They're a big dog. They're like 100 pounds, I think. But they still look like a bulldog to me, kind of, because they got this real just face that looks intimidating, but they have them soft eye. Like, to me, a bulldog has like real soft eyes. Like, when you look at them, they have just like you're just looking into a teddy bear. And that's what these dogs kind of remind me of. When you first look at them, they're real intimidating, but you start looking into their eyes, they're just like a little teddy bear. And so I would have either that dog or a bulldog with me, and then all the other stuff. Now, the walking stick I like is a good idea too, because I do like to grab a walking stick. And we actually, when I was out on a walk, last year or whatever, I was approached by a couple dogs, and I didn't want to shoot them because, for one, I knew the farmer's house was right there, and they're just out in the road basically. So I don't want to shoot them. I couldn't really pepper spray them because of how the wind was. I was like, yeah, I'm going to pepper spray the dogs. I'm going to be covered in it. And then I'm going to get attacked by a dog on top of it. That ain't going to be good. So
right.
Nice stick to whack them with. And
it gives you a ranged weapon without lethality. You jab and you can swing, and but mainly it's like a jab weapon.
Yeah.
Keep something at a distance.
Yeah, and if you get a hardwood like oak or something like that,
test every single walking stick you have by swinging it against another tree or the ground.
Yeah.
If it breaks, find another one that won't break, because you have to be able to swing like a baseball bat as hard as you can against something, and if it breaks, find another one. That's my test for all walking sticks.
That's a good idea. Yeah, And once again, on these stories, man, just tell somebody where you're going. For the love of God, just let somebody, no matter if you're Superman, just let somebody know where you're going.
My phone just gave me the 10% battery life signal. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know what you're gonna do, buddy, but I've got one quick story that about the importance of having a dog and the how loyal a dog can be for you. That's a you can punch a million times with that.
Yeah, that is the get off of me knife.
Rapid 100 fists. I had the chow, the red chow, who had 75% chow and then 75% or 25% German Shepherd. Excuse me. So he was an oversized chow with a little bit of a longer snout. And I trained this dog from puppy in my room to full grown, and it did everything that I asked it to do. It just wanted to be happy. It wanted to please me. It wanted to be, a good dog. And there was one day we had a couple of friends over, and then we were all in high school, and we got wrestling in the living room, and my dog got out of my room and saw that I was wrestling with somebody on the ground, and the chow Wicket dude bit his ass, like grabbed onto his ass and pulled him off of me. And the guy who was wrestling with me, we were just having fun, but he was 200 pounds and pulled him off with his butt. And just because we were just goofing around, wrestling, the dog thought something was happening. And he wasn't mad at the dog. I didn't have to do anything crazy, but the dog really did its job. And that's the thing, and we weren't like, I wouldn't discipline the dog for barking at people who knocked on the door or people who came, close to the yard. I would let the dog do its thing, but then it wasn't a harsh reprimand, but it was like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. And then pull the leash too, and then keep the dog real close. Just that he knows I get in a tug. Okay, all right. I guess I'm done barking. Things are fine. But it was interesting that that he was able to just absolutely wreak havoc. And a chow guarded Chinese temples. I don't know if you know that.
A chow what?
That was a chow was the dog to guard Chinese temples.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the chow guarded temples. That was their guard dog. The Chinese guard dog is a chow.
That's cool. Okay, I did not know that.
His instincts were totally perfect. And remember, chows are one family dogs. They will not go from one master to another. And if they do, that's really rare. But chows are very one person. They will pick, you're the one, right? That's it.
Right.
This is the house I'm protecting. If you take me to another place and pretend that, I'm yours, they're really, they become unstable or, unpredictable. And
right.
they're vicious too. I mean, they're vicious. Like I wouldn't trust a chow around a baby.
Oh, wow.
But there are other ones. I mean, if you're in the family, if it's a family, they're protecting the family, but you can't just move a full-grown chow to another family and just expect it to do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
I think they're like one family dogs.
That makes sense. That's very interesting, though. I did not know any of that, actually. That's very interesting. So I appreciate the input or the information on that.
But
plethora of knowledge that shocks me once in a while. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Ohio Prepper was asking where she could read more about this. So I pulled up some different articles, but you can also, if you're still in here, Ohio Prepper. Sorry, it took me a minute to get through this, but it's literally just called. If you type in "My dog saved my life," shocking battle between Belgium Malamute. I can't pronounce the dog's name.
My dog saved my life from a cougar.
Yeah, and it's that type of dog breed right there.
That's your wife's handwriting.
Yeah, I can't even read mine, dude. Yeah, if you go into YouTube and just type that in, it'll bring it up, and it's actually an interesting story. And you get to see a little bit of live footage. So I'll warn you there if you don't like any kind of that type of stuff. Just be aware that there isn't blood all over the place or anything, but you do see a dog and the cat physically, fighting each other. So be aware of that if you go in there to watch that.
Yeah.
That you will actually see the dog and them, doing that. So
yeah,
I don't know how to put a disclaimer on
it. Before my screen goes black, because I just want to say anybody out there who may come in contact with a cat or a predator type animal, which is a cat. Just so you know, when you're facing the cat, it's less likely to actually attack you because you're watching it. They don't like something watching them because they're the element of surprise. They're the spring attack where you're not looking. That's why in Siberia, the farmers would wear masks on the back of their heads because they would have a face facing that way because they were being killed by Siberian tigers. And they realized that when you face the cat, it won't attack you because the cat knows about its own life. The cat kind of realizes, okay, I could die if this thing knows that I'm stalking it, or if this thing gets the beat on me or gets the drop on me. The cat won't typically attack if you're watching it. So I don't know if many people know that, but that's why farmers in Siberia wear a mask on the back of their heads, is because the cat attacks.
Huh.
I'm going to end it with that on my point. And get a dog, get a big dog, get a small dog. If you get a small dog, 6 of them, so they're like piranhas instead of one big awesome dog.
Get some Patterdales. They're fearless, man.
That's why princesses had so many small dogs, because they were like fucking piranhas. Get a big dog or get some dogs, guys. So they're awesome.
All right, man. Have a good one, Lance.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. Good to see everybody. Next Tuesday, hopefully we'll jump in here and do something else. You're covering your face. You're embarrassed.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right.
Have a good one, Harlan.
You can see the chat. I can't. I'll come back and watch it later.
Yeah, all right, man. You're good.
Have a happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too.
Peace.
Yeah, so just a couple cool things real quick before I hop off of here, making off of what he said. If you're going to get a couple good dogs, my personal opinion, which is just my personal opinion. It's not like I'm a dog expert or anything like that by any means. However, I have done quite a bit of research on several different dogs, been around a lot of dogs in my life. If you are going to get little dogs, I would say Patterdales, because they're very fearless and they're very tough. They're agile, they're fast, they're strong as hell, they're gamey as hell. They're going to take care of your livestock as best they can and you the best they can. And they're not just little ankle biters. They are actually strong little dogs. Other than that, you want to go to the extreme. A large dog, depending on if you're out in the country. Now, these are my opinions because I live out in the country, and that is going back to the Kangles because of how they are. That's going to be my next choice of dog once the last of my Bulldogs is gone. Pending wife's opinion, of course, is going to be the Kangles. And then the medium-sized breed, of course, I always ever faithful. The Bulldog, Pit Bull, man. They're good, but you gotta have some experience as an owner to have them dogs. I believe because they are a handful and they're not very livestock friendly and stuff like that. However, I have seen some that are, and I know you can train them to be so. You just got to be very good at what you do. So that's just kind of my opinion on them for a small, medium, and large breed animal, anyways. And now I want more of a large breed one that can just kind of free range pretty much anywhere and do its thing. But let's see here. What's backwoods prepping say here? I think maybe a couple small dogs wouldn't be good. Yeah, yeah. So here, I'll just throw it up here on the screen real quick. I'm a dog lover, so I don't like that very much, but it is funny as hell. You could definitely, you wouldn't even have to throw them at them. Most little dogs, man, they got balls they need to carry around in a wheelbarrow. They think they can take on anything, man. They ain't gonna think twice about getting that cat. I don't think, especially if you got you a few patterdales, they're gonna think that cat's fun time. That's so I've got some buddies that got patterdales, and you gotta be real careful with them. If you live out in the country or whatever, like say you got one or two patterdales that weigh 20 pounds ish, they hear some coyotes and they think their job is to go run them off. So these little dogs run out there and jump in the middle of these coyotes, and there you go. That's a bad day for the little dogs and you, because you lost your dogs, because they're tough little bastards and they think they can take on anything. So they run out there and they jump full into these, yotes, and don't even think twice about it. So they would definitely run into a big cat. Arkansas living, you never heard of a patterdale? There may be a different name for them, but they are around here. That's all we call them is patterdale terriers. I'm certain that's what they are called. It's patterdale terrier. Boom, there they are. They come in red, black. I prefer the reds. They're kind of a muscular little dog. They kind of almost look like a bulldog or pit bull. But here's one right here. And some of them have a little bit longer hair. Yeah, it's kind of like a Jack Russell Terrier, man. Some of them have a little bit longer hair. Kind of a little mangier looking, I think. I like the shorter hair ones. It just depends on the bloodline that they're running with them. They're a hell of a good dog, though. I'm sure in Arkansas they do coon hunting there. They use them for coon hunting and stuff too. Like you got your blue ticks or whatever, your walkers that'll run up and do your tree and stuff like that. But if you go like farmhouse cooning or anything like that, to where you could go to a particular location and in this old farmhouse there's gonna be a bunch of coons in there, you can go in there. These dogs run down the floorboards, down in the holes or whatever. They're great for that kind of stuff too. But they are a very, very high energy dog. So you got to let them run. You got to play with them. You got to have something for them to do. They're going to eat your garage door off, stuff like that. So make sure if you ever do look into those too much, you have plenty for them dogs to do. Very high energy dog, but they're pretty nice looking little dogs, and they're entertaining as hell. So let's see here. Puma do not like pit bull dog, German Shepherd, and old yellow. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with German Shepherds either. And old yellow, they're okay. Yeah, so here we go. Yes, sir. I may do that at some point. I've read about them in many books. Richard Stratton actually has a lot of good books on them. Greg Farron wrote a lot of good books on them. Let's see here. Who else did some really good books if you're interested in some reading? Gary Hammonds wrote one or two books. I can't remember that dude down in Texas. Gary, his name's Gary as well. He has like Garner. Tom Garner has a couple good books. So if you want to do some reading on that type of stuff, there's some books right there. Because actually, honestly, a good, if you're looking, like my opinion, personal opinion, and of course you need to be an experienced dog owner to do or have them, but a game bred bulldog is the best ones I have because they are so human friendly. Because they were bred specifically to be human friendly. So we preferred the old family red noses is what my wife and I preferred. But they had some history behind them like that too. And it makes them a little easier to work with as far as for shows and stuff like that. But anyways, let's see here. Reaper says with the Kangles will take care of animals up to bears. So that's interesting that you say that because one of the nicknames that they're given is a wolf killer. So apparently they can easily, one of them, take down several wolves. It's crazy. They're an extremely, and they'll protect their herd, and they'll consider you part of their herd. They'll protect the herd clear up to the death. Ohio Prepper. That's actually a good idea. I like that. Run them off with, or run them with the laser light. I don't know if you're talking about the patterdales, but that's a good idea for the cougar too. I wonder if you could use that for cougar. So that's a good, a prepper item to keep on hand if you're going into cougar territory, and just try it. If you see one anywhere, just click it on and see if you can get it to chase the light like a house cat. Let's see. So, all right. Once again, I'm going to thank y'all for coming in here and listening and humoring our live. I'd like to do a couple more on dogs. I really enjoyed, dogs. I didn't have time to read about this one. I had some stuff that came up tonight, of course, like always, it seems like, to where I had to cut my time short and Christmas and all the other excuses I have. But, doing these survival hindsights is a lot of fun, actually, to just sit there and talk about. But I'd like to find some more dogs. So if anybody has any that you could send me through a comment or an email or whatever, that is any on dogs that have dogs in the situation, I would greatly appreciate it. Let me see some of those, and I'll see if we can get that on When the Hindsight. Other than that, I'll see what's in the comments here in the next few minutes. Then I'm going to hop off of here and go, I think, have a beer or two with my wife and just kind of relax for the evening. It was a shitty end of the day. So, other than this, right before this, it was kind of a shitty end of the day. So having a beer or two would be a good way to put it back into perspective. And then I think actually I'm going to have to get to work on my kitchen again too. So it'd be nice to just have one or two for a minute. And I probably doubt I'll do a video or anything before the new year. I do have one that I recorded a few days ago, but I've been trying to work on getting my my introduction, the stuff that I finally had to be able to start editing my videos a little bit. I messed up my phone and had to get a different phone. I can't get any of it onto this phone, so hopefully I can get some of that. If not, just be right back to the old videos where there is absolutely no editing. So maybe I'll have to give Arkansas Living a holler and see if he can help me out. He's pretty sharp on that kind of stuff from what I gather. So, all right, y'all, have a good night and take her easy.